Hello! So, I have gone really old school. If you guys have been following my channel for a long time, then you guys might recognize this. This is the exact world that I made over a year ago, 2016, back in April. This is where I showcased my record design for 1 input, 32 output. So this can be scaled up and down to just 1 hopper, 4, 8, 16, all the way up to I think 256 is the biggest I've made, and it can even go bigger. But a more practical design is a 1 input 32 output. The story behind this is I needed something fast enough to fuel a furnace array, which this is, and that was going to be the design, but this has all been long since abandoned. And this was designed back in 1.8. So let me just rip out some of this wiring and show you what we're here for. And back in 1.8, the only way to actually power all these droppers was like you see here. The comparators read the output, and then they just go into repeaters that extends all of it to droppers, or extends all of it into a comparator clock, and then that just toggles on and off, powering the droppers. However, if you don't know too much about lag in Minecraft, you should know that. Then you wouldn't know that redstone dust is actually really laggy. It causes way more updates than it needs to, and this makes the game run quite poorly when there are laggy redstone clocks triggering. So a much better alternative are actually observer blocks. So if you just bear with me a second here, what I'm going to be doing is setting up an observer clock. So this is much better because it shoots just as fast. Observer clocks make let's see, a 2.5 items per second clock. You can see it just like so. However, when you move them into place with a piston, let me just set that up, they actually shoot twice as fast, 5 items per second, which is just as fast as the comparator clock we're replacing. So this is an excellent alternative to that design. Now, building this is actually quite difficult. That's why I'm leaving this on camera. If you want to build this and you're upgrading your systems and you already have one of these on your world, and you're not going to want to break all this stuff in the background because you'll basically have to rebuild everything. So what you'd want to do is come in from behind the observers here and get your pistons all laid out, and then just push them all into place. Not with a not with a chest. Let me just do that, and that. Break all these because you're not going to need them anymore. Come below, add the pistons, and then just add in the observers. And just like so, it will go ahead and empty out all the items that I just threw in. So this is going at half speed. Let me just demonstrate when this is done. So an extra bit of benefit to this is the fact that these observers, as you just saw, will only extend once will extend individually. They don't cross, they don't trigger every dropper like over here. So it's actually just a slight bit faster, and it's much nicer that way. So one thing I wanted to actually add to the end of this video, that's honestly it, is the fact that this design for a clock is pretty standard, but it has one problem. You see, if you use it just with one input, it really screws up. I figured that wasn't necessary for this design because it distributes the items so evenly, and you would only be having one input from a hopper under like extreme cases, because this doesn't distribute perfectly. No system will, no system does, but that would be a very kind of niche problem and wouldn't really factor into this design too much. So what I'm setting up here is a nice alternative to make it so that that doesn't happen. Let me just grab a redstone torch and we'll see what I'm talking about. So what this design is basically the exact same, except the observer kind of gets pushed in from the side, and instead of having just no wiring back here, we have a little torch tower in the back which will regulate the items. So let me just throw in some items for it to shoot out and let it reset itself. So what this does is exactly what this other system does, except that it's got this circuit in the back to protect it. So you see that when I throw in items from the top, it won't actually update anymore, and it'll actually keep it firing the items. And then of course if you add items from the side, it'll utilize its twice as fast clock. So yeah, that's it. Just a quick little update video on how to decrease the lag of this, decrease the size significantly. This is far less wiring, it's far less laggy, and to a certain extent it's a little bit faster. And then here's another alternative design if you were going to build this in any other kind of situation. This is just more wiring and this blinks a little bit more, and it's also just not necessary. However, if you want to use this and you thought this was useful, just leave a like on the video below, recommend this to a friend. Leave a like below on this video, recommend this to a friend who might need it, and that's it for me. Thanks for watching.